today, I'm going to share some of my fundamental ideas with you. There is the potential that I might be a little bit didactic with what I think, or kind of feel like I'm telling you what to do, but I hope that you can remain with an open mind until the end of what I have to say. She walks up to a man on the street. "Sir, can you help me? It's so cold, I've nowhere to sleep. Is there somewhere you can tell me?" He walks on, doesn't look back. He pretends not to hear her. He starts to whistle as he crosses the street. Seems embarrassed to be there. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. The city glows with its own throbbing light, like a creeping creature without destination, moving in and out of itself for the sake of moving, undulating along its own grid lines. A jagged skyline slices through clouds and carves out the night to the soundtrack of traffic, while the stars dotting the scene twinkle with laughter at those who haven't taken the time to understand them. The gaze is drawn to a luminous tower of glass and steel where rickety old men like dwarves are guarding gates and marble floors. They grumble through corridors, rising in elevators, keys jingling down staircases, humming forgotten tunes. Here, in darkness, the machine works furiously, wheels turning, gears grinding, teeth gnashing in concentration. His arms are numb with ache, but he is unstoppable, proliferating profit and punching numbers into spaces left for the taking. He is oiled with caffeine and regular cigarette breaks, alone with what needs to be done, growing the pile of data on his serialized desk surface covered with newly sharpened pencils and new pencil sharpeners. His power is dwindling, but his focus is strong, and before long the hours have worn away blunt, lost to the tick-tock of the wall clock. He is tired, pausing to raise his head from the table. He looks around to find nobody but the guiding eyes of the exit sign and the low voice of the air conditioning vents. The machine sits in the quiet, arms still, and wonders for a moment where everybody else has gone. He prepares to leave the tower behind to travel home through the city. As his train snakes through crowds and buildings there, he sees the others he could not find. They are loitering on street corners in conversation and drinking in neon-lit bars amongst friends. They are packed into clean sushi restaurants and walking down pavements holding hands. The machine feels a flicker of doubt before he remembers the next task to be fulfilled. He gets home to his empty house and pours himself a glass of water. In it, there is a glimpse of the reflection he has known for many years. He sits down in front of the television to watch the news until the deadbeat drone of the presenter makes his body heavy. As he lies down to rest, he thinks how it might be nice if he was a different computer, trying to understand stars while ascertaining his own usefulness. Then he falls asleep. To me, that is what the capitalist world looks like. Or the capitalist life, you know. A bunch of cogs in a machine who don't really contemplate their existence in the extreme. That's what it seems to be like to me. We all judge each other. You know, I meet you, and you offer me your rigid, outstretched hand, and I think I understand who you are. I think I see you sitting in a cubicle somewhere, upright and stressed out, while a clock tick-tocks to the sound of each dollar you make. We all judge each other. I walk on stage with dreadlocks in my hair. I'm not wearing shoes. I look like a hippie. I know what I look like. I decided to look that way. I don't wear shoes because I like it when I've got one more sense in contact with my environment. I wear these dreadlocks because they're supposed to be symbolic of not being manicured, a rejection of aesthetic, but I still wear this shiny thing in my nose. I don't wear makeup because it's kind of like paint, and I think that's weird. But, you know, that we all do things for different reasons, right? That's why I look the way I look, and you look the way you look for whatever reasons you have. I've always struggled with the way people look. The first time I realized that bodies could look imperfect, I was 11. Mrs. Chan said to the whole class that I had a nice face, but big bones. I was muscle-encased track team bulk like the bear they dressed me as in the kindergarten circus musical because I wasn't skinny enough to be a ballerina. I would stand in front of the mirror, weighing each pound of fat with my stare, wishing I was a slender Chinese girl, obsidian-crowned, delicate-nosed, but my skin brown to mud under the sun and my hair dreamt of dragons. So my grandmother slathered me in whitening cream, and my father leashed my beasts with coconut oil. Yet, I was always this visual anomaly. Nobody wanted to look like me. Then suddenly, my body made the shape of a woman, and people said, "You woolly-headed butterfly, you should be in magazines, you should be a model, you're so pretty." Glamour is an obscene captor, swallowing reality whole with its lipsticked mouth and red carpet gullet. I watched Jeffrey Campbell and Hervé Ledger dance behind my eyes like Kathakali demons, while they taunted me with their power, as if owning a better pair of shoes would make me somebody, as if wearing money on my skin would make me be worth anything. Now I think it's funny that I used to have this like obsession with possession. Then I look at the women around me, carrying pink paper bags, screaming the names of mass-produced fashion brands, feet blistering in 5-inch heels and centuries of oppression. How warped is this, that we feel the need to defy nature in order to attain perfection, wrap ourselves in corsets and put on makeup to like the way that we look, put mirrors on our faces to distract from our eyes. The beauty ideal is not real. The beauty ideal is manipulation. The beauty ideal makes us spend sordid amounts of money to try and look how we think we're meant to look, and convincing us that nature makes us look how we're not meant to look. It's like, but the beauty ideal was also painted with classism and ethnocentric ignorance. Our minds have been poisoned against other people's outsides with the vitriol of the first enslavers. We are primed to judge our neighbor by some unrealistic standard, invalid because I think we're all the same. There is only imperfection. But it's hard to control our perception, primed and prepared with posters and pop culture, so I guess I'll just see what I see and remind myself that it doesn't matter. It's the insides of a person, the glue that keeps them together. Glue said to me once that I am smarter than I look, with his smirking mouth. Glue cackled that she had better teeth than mine, with a beer in her hand. Glue grabbed my hair in a strobe-lit room with greasy fingers. Glue gets messy, eats your breath, hardens in places never the same again, yet we obsess about packaging as if the contents don't count. Maybe you look at me and think I'm ugly. Maybe you look at me and think I'm beautiful. Maybe you look at me and think I'm imperfect. But how much of that is really your decision? So let's consider this. How much of your idea of perfection is your own, and how much of it is someone else's? The woman in the Anna Sui commercial is a trend, just like these trousers that I bought for $40 in Bali, which probably cost about $4 to make by an exhausted child in a remote village. I know this. And I feel like being aware of how I'm being manipulated or the systems that I engage in allows me to not get lost in this constant abyss of stimuli, drowning in media, checking out my biceps in the gym mirror, and riding elevators at the top of skyscrapers, forgetting about her. She may be the face I can't forget, the trace of pleasure or regret, maybe my treasure or the price I have to pay. She may be the song the summer sings, maybe the chill the autumn brings, maybe 100 different things within the measure of a day. She smiles across her green face. There is no envy. She shrieks a shaking storm. There is no malice. She extends bark-skinned fingers to tickle a laughing sky. She cradles creatures in her grassy palms, though they make her cry. She sings her old songs with mud-encrusted lips, music to stroke humanity's ears. But they, arrogant and insular, but they, imagining independence without her gifts, are listening to the voices of spluttering cars. They hear blips and beeps, computer-generated sounds, the breaking glass of buildings coming down, diggers digging up her flesh to put more tar on the ground while they snap off her fingers, one by one, while they release their poisons upon her fragrant breath, while they puncture her skin to suck blood from her veins, to fuel more machines, to make more buildings, to build more cities, to house more people, to birth more armies, to kill more children, to continue the war we wage upon ourselves. More money, more power, more money, more power, more respect, more respect. What are you doing? She asked. What more do you need when I give you everything? When I offer you the meat to peel off my bones, when I feed your insatiable mouths with the fruit I grow, when I flow with clean water to drink, but you fill it with garbage and oily ink. You burn my forests, you trawl my coral, you litter my beaches, you torture my monkeys, you kill my kittens, you slap your child again, you sit there watching television, you giggle and drink champagne, you get another promotion, you close another deal, you sell another air conditioning unit, you smirk at another waitress, you evict another refugee, you displace another tribe, you bomb another mother, you hurt. You hurt. She may be the reason I survive, the why and wherefore I'm alive, the one I'll care for through the rough in many years. Me, I'll take her laughter and her tears and make them all my souvenirs. For where she goes, I've got to be. The meaning of my life is she is not angry. I lied. She loves unconditionally. But we need to stop messing her up. So, when I wrote that, I was on a plane back from Indonesia, where I had spent some time frolicking around in the forest like the hippie that I am. And I was thinking about how much I love the earth and how much it hurt that she's being hurt. And how much it hurt that I was going back to Singapore where all the trees are lining the pavement and the roads like a well-planned afterthought. It makes me sad that nature comes second to our weird ideas of what progress is when actually it's the reason we exist. So I'm sitting there in the plane, feel like I'm in communion with the universe or whatever, having all these like profound thoughts and real emotional, like tearing into my notebook and scribbling this down. And the Scandinavian-looking businessman next to me wearing boat shoes is on his iPad playing Candy Crush. Jing, 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 jing. And at that moment, I was like super disillusioned with the state of humanity. It's kind of like moments like that make me feel like I want to do something to make a difference. Like that things need to change if we can be entertained by like pressing a blank screen senselessly when all these people are dying. So I always wanted to write a poem that would change something. Kill political agenda with embittered spittle, spin mind-shattering words of social inequality, start songs of freedom from the scratch of my pen, but who am I in this drama light glow? My first world yarn will never be understanding. Who am I with my $40,000 education to say the things that other people can't say while they run from their governments to countries with crossed arms, while they take rape in silence so no one is alarmed and kill children with chemical weapons but call it reform while powerful people get paid so capitalism can go on? Who am I? Stumbling, drunk and alone, getting home on streets I know are safe to go to, while women are beaten to death for wanting to be schooled and acids thrown on their faces because they said no, while they cover themselves from crown to toe since an age ago. They were too tempting to own. Who am I? With my globalized insides, my tickets for planes and money to fly high, while native people of some lands end up destroyed because the bodies that invaded thought they had the right, since black skin is black and white skin is white. Who am I? Writhing in this web of apathy. I think I struggle, but I'm a product of the GDP, skipping fingers across Apple computer keys, yet nobody hears this poem but you and me. Who am I? A disbelieving speaker for change. The sun will burn out, so this doesn't mean anything. I'm trembling with the loss of all I'll never know, while millions and billions somewhere else but here are sick and starving, salvation yet to appear, and the painful state of the rest of my planet is granite I bash my weak head against while I dream futility as an activist, so I spiel this poem and drown in my thoughts while decision makers never feel challenged with their wrongs. Then I decide, since I know I can, that the one thing I can change for better is myself. At least I can change something. The only reason why I feel like changing anything is because I have this constantly developing dichotomy of what is right and wrong. I never want to be misinformed because I don't think that's how we should be as an educated people with all of the resources of the first world. It's just that everybody's trying to make their worlds better. But sometimes your world consists entirely of your bank account. Sometimes your world consists of your family. Sometimes, sometimes your world is the too salty bowl of soup in front of you with a fly in it. What is truly ethical? What right do I have to stand here in front of you and tell you what to do? I think it's unethical to cause hurt if the way that you're making your world better is hurting people or animals or the earth, even yourselves. I think that's wrong. To me, it's simple. If you want to experience delight, then you have to provide delight. If you want to be happy, then you need to be aware of the systems around you and the things around you that are causing hurt and how you are causing hurt. And then you need to disengage from those things. And that's the only way that we're going to be happy and we're going to make the world better for other people and for ourselves. Thank you so much.